1945 when the world saw the negative face of science. By the year 2023, most of the multitude knows about the Hiroshima-Nagasaki incident that happened in World War II. That incident changed the face of Japan, and the country of Japan, especially Hiroshima and Nagasaki, still suffer from that incident. The population is still facing the consequences of that one bomb. Today on The Cosmic Wanderers, we will study about the science behind the first atomic bomb, which no one saw coming. We'll also discuss some of the history behind it, the consequences that led to it, why did America have to bomb Japan. We're not going to discuss was it right or not, because that will turn into something political, but let me just say a very neutral statement here, that wars are never an answer. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Well, some people think that the United States of America made this bomb specially for Japan when they got into a conflict with Japan. But this thing is slightly incorrect. Of course, they brought this bomb into an enforcement when they got into a conflict with the country. But they were working on this bomb since the year 1940. The state is slightly contradictory, considering some people say 1938, some people say 1942. Let's take the average, 1940. It took them a total of 5 to 6 years to develop this bomb. Now, as you can see that in the year 1938, 1940, science was at its peak. New inventions were being made, Einstein gave his theory. So people were really keeping a close attention to science, considering it was having a positive impact on the society. But this incident changed everything. If you have ever read the chapter radioactivity anywhere in any encyclopedia or maybe your academic curriculum, you might be familiar with the term nuclear fusion and fission reaction. Well, in this bomb or in any atomic bomb, the concept that is used, the basic concept is nuclear fission reaction. We'll get into the science behind the nuclear fission in a little while. Let us just discuss a little history. The name of this bomb was the Little Boy. Quite ironical, but yeah. The secret name during the preparation that the scientists and other military people used was the Manhattan Project. The most critical element behind this bomb was uranium-235, or some people say uranium-238, but it is uranium-235, considering that was the most common radioactive element that was found or that was discovered in the Earth's core during that time. The technique that they used, or the concept that they used, what they called was the gun firing concept. So consider here to be a slug of uranium. They fired another slug of uranium on it. This thing went forward and then this thing came in front. If you are familiar with the concept of nuclear fission, you might be knowing about controlled chain reactions. So first of all, let us discuss nuclear fission. Let us say that we have an atom of uranium-235. We bombard it with some rays. We get 3 neutrons out of it. Those 3 neutrons individually get again 3 neutrons out of them. Now, neutrons, as you know, are very small particles. They generate gamma radiations, and gamma radiations have the tendency to cross through even human flesh. You know, X-rays are used to detect whatever fractures you get in your bones. Gamma rays have a lower wavelength and a higher frequency than X-rays. That is why gamma rays have a tendency to propagate through human body. This is the concept that they used then. What they called a gun firing technique was actually an uncontrolled nuclear fission reaction. They did not control this 3 neutron going on propagating. Instead, they let it go. When you do a controlled radioactive reaction or any kind of bombardment, then you can generate electricity out of it. Then you can use science in the positive way. But when you have a destructive thought, you will never think of controlling anything. That is what they did. They used an uncontrolled chain reaction. They bombarded uranium-235 with a particle. It generated 3 neutrons. Those 3 neutrons generated 3 neutrons again individually. Let us discuss the dimensions of the little boy. So it weighed around 9,800 pounds, which was quite a lot. When we measured the length, then it came out to be nearly 10 feet. And the diameter was about 28 inches. So this was quite a big bomb, which had a destructive power. The information that is available says that this bomb was prepared in Los Alamos. Then it was transferred to New Mexico or New Mexico, however you want to call it. Then it was transferred to San Francisco, and then it went to California. Now, when this bomb was ready, on 6th August 1945, a B-19 bomber with the name Enola Gay, so this is a very important name, it was transferred from Tinian to Japan. Now the Americans knew what population and manpower meant to Japan, considering that they were already in a war and they were conflicting continuously with even their neighboring nations. They knew what population meant to Japan. Hiroshima and Nagasaki had the majority population of Japan at that time. For particularly the little boy, the first bomb that we are talking about, it was landed up on Hiroshima. It had a population of 300,000 people with nearly 40,000 military men alone. So they knew it was important to Japan. That is why they chose Hiroshima and Nagasaki. At 8:16 a.m. when Enola Gay finally released the little boy above Hiroshima, within 43 seconds, the bomb detonated 1,900 feet above the city. Even Enola Gay, the bomber, flew off 11.5 miles away. That was the strength. Some people even say that the strength of the explosion or the force of the explosion was around 15 kilotons. What were the consequences faced by Japan out of this bombing? Nearly 140,000 out of 3,000 people were killed in Hiroshima alone. Nearly 74,000 people were killed in Nagasaki. 42 out of 45 functional hospitals were rendered unfunctional. The women who were pregnant during the time of this bombing gave birth to either genetically disordered kids or had to miscarriage the child. The country, after 5 to 6 years after bombing, still suffered from continuous chain of diseases like leukemia, cancer, etc. What led to the United States of America take this harsh step against the country of Japan? Let's go into the history a little bit. During the month of July in the year 1945, the Allies asked Japan for its complete surrender during the Potsdam Declaration. Though Japan completely went against it, they said a clear no for the surrender. During this time only, the United States of America was working on this atomic bomb. So when still again this surrenderment offer was kept in front of Japan, they again neglected it. At that time, the United States of America shortlisted 5 main points or 5 main places in the country of Japan. Out of these 5 shortlisted, they finalized 2 and bombarded them. But before bombarding them, they spread maple leaves. I don't know if you've seen them. They spread maple leaves all over Hiroshima and Nagasaki a day before the bombardment as a sign of warning. They warned the population, they warned the government that they want their surrenderment. So when next day still nothing happened, they finally bombarded. This was all about this video. I took you into the science, I took you into the history behind this evil face of science. One of the times when we saw the evil faces of science, after that science completely abandoned the idea of atomic bomb, and since then nothing has happened like that, and hopefully nothing happens like that in the future. Hopefully science is not used in the bad way. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section and I'll be replying to them. This is me signing off for the day, coming again with a new videos.